Ay, amempiga risasi kwa kichwa. Ay, amempiga risasi kwa kichwa.
Mexico tearing white people's asses up right now. If you don't believe me, you can go look it up. But the Mexicans that are in Mexico are literally coming after people who are claiming to be nomads. You know, all those boomers who have now retired and are looking for a cheaper place to live with their retirement. They decided to go to Mexico and try to gentrify Mexico. And they said, no, sir, no, ma'am. The Mexican people are going through their cities where they've built all these places of shops and restaurants, and they are breaking everything. They are blaming this boomer generation and these digital nomads for the reasons why the price of living is going up. They said that over the last 5 years, just rent alone has gone up 43% because of them. They said that because of them, they are now having to choose between groceries, rent, and electricity. And they didn't waste no time telling them, get the fuck out. They even said they was coming on their beaches telling them that their mariachi bands can't play their music. The nerve. That's a cultural thing that's been going on there forever. Why would you think you get to go to someone else's country and tell them what to do? There was even one of the protesters who was quoted stating, this is how colonialism works, and we're gonna put a stop to it before it ever even happens, honey. And they don't look like they're joking around, busting windows straight out, honey. Did y'all know they over...
These protesters in Mexico City say cross-border migration is changing their country's capital for the worse. Over the last decade, an influx of mostly American so-called digital nomads have moved here to work remotely and also enjoy a cheaper cost of living. Protesters say the newcomers have driven up rents beyond the reach of locals.
Principalmente si van a vivir.
If they're going
That might be an agent.
to live in a country, they have to contribute to that country. The first and simplest issue is legal migration. They come here with visas or no visas, and still the change in purchasing power generates these problems of gentrification and displacement.
I'm here because gentrification is just one more step towards colonization, dispossession, and the exploitation of our resources. Right now it's about the people, but it won't be long before they run out of oil, water, or lithium in other countries and come and take them from us.
Many Americans in Mexico are able to still receive high salaries in dollars from U.S. companies by working on laptops from their apartments.
The government is directing its public policies towards people with higher purchasing power, often illegally displacing local populations who have lived in these neighborhoods for 40, 50, and we have even documented cases of up to 60 years. In 5 years, rents have increased by 47%. This is violent for the local population. We are debating whether to pay for electricity, water, or food. Of course, we choose to eat.
Some activists blame Mexico's government for encouraging them. However, there's no simple fix. Imposing tougher visa restrictions on Americans could worsen relations with the U.S. Mexican citizens in the U.S. also send billions of dollars in remittances back to their families in Mexico. In a world where travel and communication are faster and easier than ever, these two nations are finding it harder to have neighborly relations.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'm going to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power. Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the head elders and apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. And I also want to just give a shout out there to the hopeful elect, to Yahawah. If Yahawah towards sincerely and it's true, as well as believers of this word, not just believers, but doers as well. And again to you, I like to say shalom. All right, this is just going to be another quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahawashi. And like always, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Begin straight into it, man. All right, there's uproars of the people all over the place. All right, so this is just prophecy speaking. As you know, it's commanded unto us to keep watch. All right, and to prophesy unto you and to warn you of the things that are coming. Okay, and the man who are truly doing that, which I must put a name upon it. All right, it starts with the head elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right, on down as the like-minded brothers who teaching the same doctrine, man. Okay, but going back, these are the men, who were sent here by Yahawah, all right, through the Spirit, okay, to prophesy unto you and warn you, all right, and it is my duty as well, because I abide upon that doctrine, and I learned from the head elders and apostles to do so as well. So let's get straight into it. This 2 Ezra 9:1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee. So as we often bring out, okay, measure the time. All right, and this is a commandment from the Lord as well for you law, statutes, and commandment keepers, man. All right, this is a commandment from the Lord. Measure thou the time diligently. Okay, so as we are in the times, as you measure the times, you learn how to move. Okay, you learn how to walk or whatever. Or you just paying attention, man. Okay, you been on point. It says verse 2. It says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So that's what the times we're coming into. All right, we're coming into that time where the Lord is finna get ready to visit the world which he made. Okay, and this is one of the signs. Matter of fact, continue. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Yeah, so the Lord been speaking upon these things. It says the days that before thee, even before you was brought upon this earth, these things was already written down, man. Okay, and they was put in motion. Here it is that being fulfilled, man. All right, and again, the main point I'm touching on in this lesson is the uproars of the people. Okay, this is prophetic. All right, we often bring out how Egyptians shall be against the Egyptians. These people are coming up against their kings and princes, man. Matter of fact, it tells you that in the 2 Ezra, what is that? I believe it's 15. All right, it says, matter of fact, let's start at verse 14, because that's the time we're in. We're in the time of 2 Ezra. All right, 2 Ezra 15 and verse 14, and it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. All right, and then for those who watch me, I love that word woe. I go into it often. It means death and destruction. All right, because that's going to be brought upon the people who are dwelling in the world by the way of their minds. All right, it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So here it is, people are going to fight one against another. All right, you're going to have a division within the land. Okay, remember Yahawashi said, well, if Satan divided against himself, how can he then stand? All right, or if a house divided, how can it stand? All right, so here it is. This kingdom was built to fucking be destroyed, man. It was built to collapse, basically. All right, going back to the Civil War. Okay, this place always been divided, man. All right, never been been as one, and that's because this place was built upon it basically was built upon by wickedness and blood. Okay, riches gotten by deceit. Okay, number of wickedness have been sold in the land, so therefore that's what's going to be reaped, man. All right, but to continue, it says for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And you have this happening all over the world right now. I showed you 3 different places. What's like it 2? The last video is going to be in America, which I'll show at the end. Okay, but you brothers and sisters know about the protests that are happening. All right, within here in Babylon the Great, but you had protests. Oh, you got shit. Them people over there in France. All right, you had Africa, you know, in Atlanta. I believe that's Kenya. All right, you got Mexico. You know, this shit is getting real, man. You know, people are actually coming up against their kings and princes. Okay, this is prophetic again, and we're here to what? Warn you of these things. All right, it says a man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able, and they're gonna shut shit down, man. They're gonna shut shit down. All right, and really, Esau, Edom, we know the plans of this devil. Okay, he's just really using Jacob as a scapegoat. All right, he gonna use Jake as the reason why, you know what I mean, he shut shit down and he bring forth, you know, cause he really just want to bring forth his seed. All right, his plan, his new world order. All right, for we are not ignorant of Satan devices, man. Okay, and again, as the prophets of the Lord, we're here to warn you of these things. Okay, so you know, again, this is just prophetic, man, going into a prophecy. All right, we are in the end times, man. Okay, so as the scriptures say, be circumspect. All right, it says, continue, it says, for because of their, it says, Salakia, yeah, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's what you have there over there in Mexico. All right, hey, men's pride is really, it's getting to them, man. Niggas destroying the city. All right. Because the prices again getting higher, and this nigga Trump just dropped another 30% tariff on Mexico, so it's gonna get worse, man. It's gonna get worse. All right, people really gonna turn up, man. You see, these people ain't built, man. They so used to turn depending on their government to the point where they're about to get ready to fucking lose it, all because their government is not gonna come through, man, for what they need to survive. But over here, what? We depend on Yahawashi. If I may, as a matter of fact, let's get that. We're going to jump real quick. We're going to get that, man. Shalakia. We're going to stay on track too, though. But let's get Isaiah 10 and verse 20. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel in truth. So we stand upon the Lord. So we like, nigga, to hell with what the fuck you got going on. All right? Do what you got to do. At the end of the day, Yahawashi is going to feed his saints. He's going to look out for his men as he always been taking care of us, man. All right? Me, myself, I can say, man, numerous of times where it's like, goddamn, Lord put me through a growing process, honestly. You know, with my back up against the wall. All right? I'm low at this point. I'm on my last $2. You know what I mean? But the Lord always found a way, man. All right? He always found a way, man, you know, to put me back up on my feet. The just man falleth 7 times, but rises up again. All right? But going back, let's get back to the point on that second Esdras. Okay? And it says, Salakia, second Esdras 15 and verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So eventually that lack of bread, man, that's going to cause really those hunger pains to kick in, and niggas going to go at it, man. Niggas going to go at it. You're going to be spoiling your houses. You're going to be ravishing wives. You're going to be taking children. It's going to get fucking chaotic out here, man. We're going into some very dark times, and you people think this shit is a game? Lord's going to show you what a game is, man. All right, He's going to show you, and it's going to be a game for the death angels. All right, playing hopscotch with your ass, man. All right, ping pong or some shit, hot potato, you know what I mean? Tossing your ass to and fro. Oh, that made me think about when you escape a lion. What it says, when he escaped a lion, then a bear met him. Then he escaped. No, he escaped a bear, then a lion met him. Roughly paraphrasing. Then he leaned his hand upon the wall, and the serpent bit him. Yeah, man, you going to have death angels left and right. You ain't going to be able to escape the times that we're coming into. And people don't want to hear about it because it's uncomfortable. But shit, nigga, you better get ready to be uncomfortable. All right? Be prepared to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, man. You see? All right? But see, here it is. The men of the Lord, those of you who dwell upon the tents of Yahawah, because you lean upon the Holy One of Israel, the Lord is already getting you prepared for the times that we're going into, man. All right? Faith to faith. Okay, as we go through these tribulations, these trials and tribulations, All right, the Lord is just building us up, man. All right, but moving on, let's get I'm gonna get 2nd Esdras 6, verse 22. It says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown; the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." All right, these are your storehouses. You know what you have, whether it's your either your clothes, man. It ain't gotta necessarily be your food, the clothes, all that, the gas station, all that, even to the warehouses. They're gonna be found empty, man. Okay, ultimately the warehouses. You know, soon ain't gonna be getting no more shipments. All right, it ain't gonna be enough jobs out here. All right, and that MOTB is gonna be the solution. Okay, for these people. All right, that's what it's all about, man. All right, it says what, order out of chaos. You see, it says, "And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear, they shall be suddenly afraid." Yeah, really, the news report. You consider a man hear the news report, they hear the terrors going up, whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, then they boom, they're afraid. They're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Versus us, we hearing it now, we afraid. We considering now, cause we're afraid. You know what I mean? We hearkening now. All right, but as for the people on the left hand side, it's gonna take for the news broadcast, cause the news, they get that shit last minute. Walmart empty by the time the news hear about it. You see? Or people are already gonna start ravishing the stores by the time the news hear about it, and that's gonna shake men up. They go, oh shit, hey yo, we gotta go, let's go. You know, we gotta get ours. You know what I mean? Then it's gonna be the stores gonna be empty. Then they gonna start taking from other people, man. It says, "And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein." It says, "The springs of the fountain shall stand until, and in 3 hours they shall not run." So, you know, that they going into it, man. Men's gonna fight one another. All right, shit's gonna, and this word is gonna be scarce. All right, and niggas ain't gonna have no solution by the way of Yahawah bahasham. Niggas gonna have a solution by the way of following after their own lust, going after the flesh. All right, robbing and killing. Okay. Matter of fact, robbing and murdering, because killing is more justified than murder. But it's gonna be killing too. All right, it's gonna get real out here, man. Once again, we're going to some horrific, all right, dark times, man. All right, but I'm gonna close it out with that. You know, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I'm gonna get this last video, but till next time, I'd like to say shalom.
For Mexico, terror.
And that supporter was not really met with a lot of other support. You see him basically being, have some water, look like dumped on him, and being taunted, more water thrown, people waving a Mexican flag in his face as they walk through America. And
they wanted to get him out of here.
The guy punched?
Wow. It got nasty. It got nasty. We followed it for a while because we wanted to keep an eye on him. He was by himself.
Wow.
And I didn't see the beginning of it, but I did see when people started talking back to him, and he started trying to make it to his car, and as you can see, it got quite nasty. At one point, people were going after him. Now, I have to say that's the only person like that we have seen here, and he did make it to his car. Near the end, people were saying, let him go, we don't want to hurt somebody, we don't want to be seen like this. So even within the protesters, there's that dissent of, don't get violent, don't overdo it, but definitely when it is hot like it is today, when people are tired, things are going to happen. But the man did get in his car and he did drive away. That we did see. But after being forcefully pushed out of here, very forcefully.
And that supporter was not